Welcome to Trafalgar Castle School's Roundtable discussion. Trafalgar Castle School is an all-girls independent day and boarding school for grades 4 through 12 in Whitby, Ontario. We've been educating girls since 1874 within a warm and progressive community that offers exceptional academics and prepares young women to make a difference in the world. My name's Ashley Godfrey. I'm the Marketing and Communication Specialist at Trafalgar Castle, and I'll be moderating today's exciting talk. Over the next hour, you'll hear from our panel of two parents and an alum as they share their firsthand experience of Trafalgar. First, I'm pleased to introduce our alum, Bayana Javanji, head girl from the class of 2016. Bayana just graduated from the University of Toronto, St. George, with a double major in ethics, society, and law, and diaspora and transnational studies. She plans on continuing her education with a master's in public policy and global affairs with the goal of working with United Nations in the future. Also joining us today are two parents, Michelle Shaw, and Karen Gordon. Michelle is the proud parent of the current Trafalgar student who started at the school in grade 7. Michelle is a professor and faculty consultant for human skills development at George Brown College. Karen is also the proud parent of a current Trafalgar student and is the chair of our board of directors. Karen's currently principal at Gordon Strategy, a communication strategy firm. A warm hello to our panelists, and thank you for taking the time to share your experience with us. So let's begin the discussion. I'm going to begin with our alum, Bayana, and I'll address all the questions to Bayana first. So Bayana, what did you appreciate most about Trafalgar Castle during your time here? And how has your perspective on that changed over the past 5 years since you graduated?
So I spent 6 years at Trafalgar, and over my journey there, I realized how valuable the varied curriculum was. So I would say that to me was what I was most appreciative about. So within the varied curriculum, I think it's important. A lot of people don't know how much is offered at Trafalgar, especially being such a small school. When I was there, we were offered Latin and Mandarin, such diverse and unique classes for such young girls. And I think it's amazing to have given the foundation and the platform to learn these different classes at such a young age, so that when you do graduate from Trafalgar, you have a better idea of what you love and what you want to learn at university. And you're a little bit less lost, for a lack of better words. So like another thing that actually just popped into my head was, since grade 10, 11, and 12, they always prepare you for university citation essays. And during that time, I was like, why do we have to know this? This seems really difficult. You know, we're only in grade 10, we're learning these really difficult essays. And my first essay ever at university was cited the exact same way that Miss Phillips had taught us in grade 10. And I just remember sitting there thanking her, because unlike my peers around me, I already knew what to do. And it was something, which at the time I didn't value. But then on my first week at university, I was sitting there like, this is amazing. So in terms of how has my perspective changed, I wouldn't say that it's changed. I would say, if anything, it's maybe strengthened. Maybe as I've gotten older, I'm realizing more and more the value of a varied education and how important a varied education can be to students. So it hasn't changed. I think it has gotten stronger.
In your experience, what most differentiates Trafalgar from other schools?
I would have to say the small schools, like having very small class sizes. And with that comes the intimate class sizes and having to know everybody. Because I know from even within the CAIS schools, Trafalgar was always one of the smallest in terms of class sizes. And I think that's something so unique. For my graduating class, I think there was 35 students. And when I tell that to people, they're always like, 35 students? That was, the class of my biology class. And it really did foster a sisterhood and a family, because within a month, you knew all the staff and you knew all the students, whether you were in grade 12 or in grade 5, you knew everybody. And I think that's really important and unique, especially when it comes to focus and discipline within an academic setting, because it created the teachers to allow to get to know each student on a very intimate and one-on-one level. So academically, they know your academic history to a T. They're able to help you on anything and everything that you need to succeed. And because of that, your academic journey at Trafalgar is really refined, and you can fine tune it along the way. And I think that's something that I haven't seen at other independent schools, and you really don't feel like you get lost within the school and you're not just one of the other students. You get to make your mark there, and you get to make your name that whoever you want to be is who you can be during your time.
Yeah, we're small by design, and it's so important. If Trafalgar Castle School were to be represented as a single person, what would its personality be like in 3 words, and why?
In 3 words, it's a little tough. There's a lot of words that come to mind. I would have to say that visionary, passionate, and receptive. So visionary, because the school has always had the ability to evolve and keep up with the times, whether it's through their academic curriculum or the extracurriculars. They've always offered the newest and most unique programs and activities. And their vision has always been carried out through their love and dedication for the girls. And I think that's really important. Passionate. Trafalgar has always been passionate in everything that they do. And again, you really see that in the happiness of the students, of the teachers there. Everyone is just smiling all the time. And that's when you put passion into something, you will never be motivated to do anything less than that. And you'll always be motivated to keep learning. So passionate for sure. And then my other one was receptive. And for this, I think it comes down to Trafalgar was always willing to learn. They were always willing to take feedback, which is so important. They were always willing to sit back and say, how can I change this? Or what can we do better here? To listen to the feedback of parents, to listen to the feedback of students, to listen to the feedback of current staff. And with that, always came to more refined programs, more refined opportunities for the girls, and ultimately just a more holistic environment.
Those are 3 lovely words. Okay, what one thing would you change about Trafalgar for the better if you had to choose something?
So perhaps the social interactions with other private schools. Now, this kind of comes as a little bit of a tricky one because Trafalgar is one of the private schools that is tucked away. We're a little bit far from everyone else, being in the heart of Whitby, which is a blessing because we have this small, unique community. But in some ways, since we're not in the city or near other independent schools, I think sometimes we get lost when it comes to having those social interactions or social gatherings. So I would potentially love to see some initiatives created around fostering a healthy community between different independent schools, because I know we did some of them, but I think there's always room for improvement. And sometimes I think it's easy to get stuck in a little bit of a bubble. So if given the opportunity to mingle, so to speak, with other private schools, I think that would be great. Just a way for the girls to get out of the castle walls and ultimately hone in on their social skills as well.
That's a great idea. Okay, what would families find most surprising about Trafalgar?
Most surprising would be, I don't know if this is a little bit of a cliche, but the castle. Because I still can't get over it. And because not only is it truly a castle, but Trafalgar has really kept the integrity of the building. And all of their bones from 150 plus years ago are still there. And that is so unique. And I think sometimes we get lost, having worked there or having go to school there, we don't realize how beautiful this architecture is that surrounds us. And so new families would probably say, oh yeah, they say it's a castle. But then when they come in and they're sitting in the classroom and they see the brick all around them, oh wow, this is the same brick. This is the same floors that were used almost 200 years ago, is something that still surprises me until today. Even I don't know if they've changed it now, but back when I was a student, there would always be hidden passageways that we were so eager to find, and would always be nagging on the maintenance men, can you please take us to find some hidden passageways for us? And things like that, small things that you can't find at a modern school. It will always be irreplaceable, and it will always be so unique to Trafalgar. So I'm always excited to see. I remember when I would give tours just to see the look on parents' faces when they would step into the school. So definitely, I think that's what new families would find most surprising.
It is a stunning building, and it isn't just a title, Trafalgar Castle School. It's a stunning building. Okay, finally, last question by Anna. What advice would you give to students just entering Trafalgar?
Just entering Trafalgar, my advice would be to take charge of every opportunity. Again, a little bit of a cliche answer, but truly this is so important. I think it's important for every student, no matter if you're entering in grade 5 or grade 12, to step out of your comfort bubble a little bit and do things that you wouldn't typically do, because you're in an environment where you have help. You have help from staff, you have help from your peers, and you have the ability to do these really unique activities and programs. And again, these activities and programs are ultimately going to help you later on in life. So take charge of everything that comes your way. Be really busy. Do things you wouldn't typically do. Whether it's robotics, whether you don't see yourself as a robotics girl, do robotics, or maybe field hockey. You don't see yourself, in a field hockey skirt, but you might surprise yourself, because that's kind of what happened with me. I did everything at once, and then I honed in on what I loved. And just participating among these strong women and these strong girls and amazing staff is really only going to help you in the future. So take charge of every opportunity and step out of your comfort bubble.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Bayana. Your answers were amazing and great, gave some awesome insight into what it's like to be a Trafalgar student. Okay, so now let's turn our discussion to our parent panelists, Karen and Michelle. So the first question is, why did you originally choose Trafalgar Castle? And in what ways is Trafalgar what you expected? In what ways is it not? So I'll begin with Michelle, and then Karen can follow.
So the reason I chose Trafalgar is not the reason I'm staying with Trafalgar. So that's one thing I want to make sure of, because when we were looking for a home for our daughter, what we looked for were sort of reviews online and so on. And we went to different places, and we didn't know about Trafalgar being nested right in our community. And so when we found it, we were like, oh, wow, this is close to home. Let's check it out. And so we came in, and the brilliance of the castle was very like, wow. So we liked the castle, and we went inside and were invited in by the warmest staff. The system was clear, that it was structured, it was very organized, welcoming. We had a chance to talk to the principal in the hallway, got invited into her office. She gave us a tour, and we thought, wow, staff are amazing. Looking around, heard about their program, loved the environment. And I went to an all-girls high school that looked like a castle, and I thought this would be great for my daughter to go to as well. So we chose it on those more emotional variables. My sister was with me on that trip, and she also went to an all-girls high school. So those were the reasons we chose Trafalgar, an all-girls high school right in our community. Let's check it out. Let's see what it's all about. That's not the reason we're staying with Trafalgar, though. What we've discovered is that this is a gem, hidden gem. And we are so grateful that we found Trafalgar, home for our daughter. Trafalgar is a community, a family. And my daughter has been ill a lot especially in her first year. The school nurse is outstanding, supportive. And I feel like the school nurse is one of the teachers, because I've had to talk to her as much as the teachers. Back and forth, just really supportive in terms of her care. And so Trafalgar, we started off choosing it as a school, but now we choose it because it's a caring, supportive community for my daughter's well-being. And so that for me is even more important than what we're talking about academically, because when you have a child that sometimes gets ill one way or the other, what you're looking for is that level of support. And she also had her vice principal who has sat her down in the office, just helping her to get through all the missed opportunities from school, having to get back in. It has been a real rough ride for her, and she's had such amazing support in all of the social work, all of the vice principal, and that's before she gets to the amazing team of teachers that she has. I remember when she was leaving grade 7, she had a male teacher as her homeroom teacher, and that was the first time she had a male teacher for homeroom. And I thought, I need him to go with her to grade 8. I don't want him to leave her behind. I need him just to go with her for a couple of years. This is really amazing. It's working beautifully. I don't want him to leave. And then we met the grade 8 teacher. And I thought, oh my God, it looks like we've just sort of packaged them and they're all the same. They're all absolutely amazing. So the teachers are fantastic, but the teachers are part of a team. The support outside of the classroom, many parents may not have had reason to engage with the outside supports because their children may be healthier in some way, but because my daughter has had to have so many interactions outside of the classroom, that is the greatest gift that Trafalgar has given to her. So we started with Trafalgar because we love the school. We're staying because it's our community, it's our family.
Well put. Wow, that is wonderful. It's beautiful. All right, Karen, how about yourself? Why did you originally choose Trafalgar Castle, and in what ways is Trafalgar what you expected, and in what ways is it not?
The reason we chose Trafalgar Castle was our daughter in grade 9 had been experiencing problems in the public system. It was very clear to us early into grade 9 that that wasn't going to be a fit or wasn't going to help her be the best person she could be. Trafalgar Castle had come recommended through some people I knew within the independent school system. And we went about 6 weeks into grade 9, we went to the school. Natalie toured the school, and she got into the school, and she started mid-October of grade 9. I cannot stress enough what a game changer that was for her. I feel confident, very confident in saying, and will often say, I like to say it saved her life. Other people will say that it changed the course of her life. What I didn't expect was, and what I didn't expect was just the level of community that was at the school, and the amount of community that was at the school. What's been the best thing that we've seen is they've truly believed in my daughter. They believed in her. They believed in her when she didn't they believed in her when she didn't believe in herself. And that's been a really big game changer. She entered Trafalgar Castle failing 3 out of 4 grades. And she's now a prefect. She has high honors. She's going to the university of her choice. I can't, and she couldn't have done that without the village behind her. And it sounds so cliche to say it takes a village, but it really does. And that village for us is Trafalgar Castle.
Did all that.
All right, I will go back to Michelle for this next question. What is the biggest impact Trafalgar has had on your child?
For us, Trafalgar really reset her confidence. It's realigned her, sort of allowed her to sort of re-up, to revisit her own voice, which was sort of getting lost in the noise. The environment at Trafalgar allowed her to sort of dig back in and see a space for her leadership, her style of leadership. Because my daughter likes to interact with adults as much as her peers. And the small, warm, sort of supportive, engaging environment allowed her to build relationships across the school, not just with her class. She was able to build relationships with teachers who were not teaching her. She was building relationships with non-faculty. She was building relationships with even the caretakers of the property. And this is important for her. She's a people person. She likes to talk. She likes to be out interacting. And the school provided that environment where she had that opportunity for student council, and she was absolutely elated to win student council in her first year. Then she felt like, oh, you don't have to be here 5 years and everybody knows you in order for you to show them what you're made of, and they accept it and they believe in it. That was big for her. because she believes in her leadership abilities, but she wasn't sure that it would be obvious at the beginning of her tenure. And so just coming in, running for student council and being given that opportunity really set her on the right path to really double down on her belief and build up her confidence in her leadership abilities. That's the big piece for her, because she is that kind of person that she wants to lead, and Trafalgar has provided her the space to go ahead and do that.
Can do anything.
Yeah, just be you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Karen, what is the biggest impact Trafalgar has had on your child?
Oh, confidence. 100% confidence.
Yeah.
They have taken this young woman who, her dad and I knew she had a lot of confidence, but I don't think the outside world saw the confidence, and given her the ability to go out and shine and be strong and be confident. Dr. Foster, the head of school, has a really great expression. She says, at Trafalgar Castle, the best science student is a girl. At Trafalgar Castle, the best athlete is a girl. At Trafalgar Castle, the best actor is a girl. And it really has just empowered my daughter, empowered her friends. It's fantastic when you look at this group of students, and I've watched them since grade 9, and their ability to shine and try different things and try debating. My daughter's got great grades in French, and that's something that I hadn't ever predicted would happen. And she's looking now to go to university and minor in French. It's just unbelievable. And without that confidence, it wouldn't have happened. So 100% confidence.
Confidence.
Okay, so
No
we know,
confidence.
yeah, we know what the parents think about Trafalgar, but Karen, I'll begin with you. What does your daughter have to say about Trafalgar Castle?
Oh, she loves it. She loves it. She doesn't, she's like every teenager. Sometimes there's complaints, but she loves it. She knows. And that confidence in having a friend group and having a tight friend group. I am a very, very strong supporter of single sex schools. I think in particular in high school, it is a game changer to have just a single sex high school. And she's great. She's, she has to get up, she gets on the GO train, she takes the GO train in, and there's very little complaints. So it's great.
So we do have a GO train shuttle that will take students from the Whitby GO station right to the front of the castle doors and take them back home as well to the GO train station. Michelle, what does your child have to say about Trafalgar Castle?
Yeah, her school is her home. That's where she'd like to live if we could afford boarding. She totally loves the school. She loves the environment. She loves the landscaping. She loves the people. She's already built relationships with the housing team there, because she thinks at some point we're going to give in and let her go into boarding. So she's setting up the relationships ahead of time. She's really deeply connected to the school and very much owns it and cares about the school, not just for herself, but she cares about the image of the school. She cares about what people say about the school. She cares about the marketing for the school. She feels like she needs to be involved in all these things. She really has taken full ownership of the school, and she forces me. She's, Mom, you need to be more involved in the school. I need more involvement from you. We need more parent involvement. So she's really sort of out there advocating for the school. It's her home. And when Sadie's always been someone who thinks, let me explore and see what else is out there, because she's changed schools a lot in primary, and now she says, this is it, this is my home, and this is where I'll be until I go off to university. And so it really is very comforting for me that she feels safe, she feels secure, she feels at home, because what that leaves is room for her to focus on the main thing.
That's some strong Trafalgar pride. I like it.
Yeah, she's a Traffite.
So this question is similar to the one I asked Bayana. If the school were to be represented as a single person, what would its personality be like in 3 words, and why? I'll begin with Karen.
Smart, engaged, and empowered.
I like that. Succinct. How about you, Michelle? You didn't even have to think about that one.
No, I didn't. I see it every day when I'm home. Smart, engaged, empowered.
Fantastic. I could agree with those if I didn't have 3 words that I wanted to share as well. I agree with those. I chose inclusive, supportive, and innovative. And for me, inclusive is it's about every person there, including the students, looking out for each other. Like my daughter is working with a grade 5 student, and on a Saturday morning she's caring about that student. She's caring about the connection with the student's parent. That level of inclusion, it's non-existent. It's the kind of family that doesn't exist. And so I really like that. I also like the inclusion of parents, not just in person for conversations like these, but for your feedback, the invitation for feedback, formally and informally. And I also like the fact that the students have their voice included in the conversation. And I'm very impressed to see that the students feel like they can give that feedback. My brother and I were home one day when Sadie was writing a note to Dr. Foster, the head of school. And we thought, you can't write that note to your principal. And she says, oh, yes, I can write it. Don't you send it to your teacher? And then the teacher sends it to she goes, no, you can write to Dr. Foster and she'll answer you. And we're thinking, you can't write that to your principal. And then she received a response and was invited for a call to have the conversation. And I'm thinking, wow, this school is way ahead of its time, way ahead of its time. And that's what impresses me about the school. The results are there. They are about the results. Like if the child isn't getting the results, there is extra classes for math, there is extra this, there's online, there are people calling, there are teachers setting up time. I looked over her Google Drive once to see her English essay, and the amount of comments that teacher placed, I'm thinking, that is nuts. I was so impressed. I had to write to the teacher, like, if that's the amount of feedback you give on one essay, wow, I wish I were in your class when I was growing up. That would have made a big difference for me. And so that's what I like about the school. But the innovation of the school is not about the place. And I want to make sure I'm clear on that. It's the school is not the place. The school is the people. And leadership is everything when we come to a school. And at Trafalgar, I see ladders of leaders. Dr. Foster is clearly, that's why she got the Art of Leadership Award. I thought she ought to get the Art and Science of Leadership Award because her leadership is outstanding. And she is a servant leader that serves the students and serves her faculty and serves her parents in a way that everybody feels welcome to challenge her, welcome to share with her, welcome to support her, to collaborate with her. And that's what's making the big difference at Trafalgar Castle. So I really think that the innovation, the people, but inclusive, supportive, innovative are my 3 words.
Thank you, Michelle. Karen, do you have something to add?
To hear Michelle use the word, given Michelle's professional expertise, to hear her use the words inclusive with regards to Trafalgar Castle, to me, is very special and amazing. I think it really is such an important word, and to hear it with regards to my daughter's school just makes me so happy.
Yes.
Thank you for adding that.
Inclusive.
And then finally, the last question for our parents is Trafalgar's values are determination, imagination, resilience, kindness, and insight. How would you describe the values of Trafalgar and the values of the families in our community? Michelle, would you like to go ahead?
Well, when you touch values, that's my middle name. That's what I love to. And so I was very impressed when Mr. Mack came up with the acronym DIRKY, and it just shows how involved the faculty and staff are in the values of the school, that they decide, here's an acronym that describes our values. What I believe is that many institutions espouse values. It's a nice little thing that's written up on the website, and it's used in discussions for marketing purposes, but it's not actually lived. Nobody knows what they are. Nobody cares about them. It's not incorporated in our work, in how we live, and how we do our business. Trafalgar separates themselves in that area. Trafalgar Castle actually lives the values, discusses the values, incorporates the values in conversations, in how we're thinking, in how we're moving forward. My daughter knows the values, incorporates the values in what she's doing. When the children, and my daughter is just coming out of grade 8, when a grade 8 student in a school that goes to grade 12 knows the values and knows the importance of including the values in communication with the school, now we're talking about values that are really ingrained in our school community, that are understood, that are believed in, and that are being lived. These are very important values, and I know that the faculty and staff participate and are really keen on these values as well. I am not familiar with the larger parent body. The parents that I have opportunity to interact with, I can see the values emanating out of them. And that is what impresses me about the school. The values are the foundation for everything we do. It is what sets up our girls for the future. When skills must change, when careers must change, when the world changes, when we get knocked sideways down, we lean on our values. And so to teach the values, not just to have it up as a script, but to teach it and to help them understand how it helps them to build and to be better people, that is absolutely critical. And that's one of the keys to the success that Trafalgar Castle experiences.
Yeah, they certainly aren't just words at Trafalgar. They're on the walls, they're in the foundation, they're on our shirts, they're everywhere. They're so important.
But most importantly, because those are all places where we placard, we put up these images and put it out there. What's important is that it's in our soul, that we are living them.
Absolutely. Karen, same question, a final question to you. How would you describe the values of Trafalgar and the values of the families in our community?
I would say, I can summarize it in one word. The values at Trafalgar are lived values. I see it with my daughter. I see it every single day. It's in actions, it's in words, it's in being able to, as Michelle said, address the head of school, to feel confident enough to address the head of school, to feel confident enough to address when there's, when you think there's a problem, when you think there's an issue. And that comes out of a value system that's taught and lived at the school, and it 100% is every single day. It's not just words, it's actions, and it's an expectation that when something doesn't feel right and doesn't seem right, that you will address it. And that to me is the values at Trafalgar. They're lived every single day, and it makes it just such a great, strong, and empowering place to send your daughter.
Thank you. And with that, we've reached the end of our Q&A roundtable discussion. Thank you so much to our 3 panelists, Bayana, Karen, and Michelle, who provided their honest, firsthand experiences of Trafalgar Castle School. You could feel that honesty, and we appreciate that. It was such a pleasure speaking with you all. If you're interested in learning more about Trafalgar and our differences, please visit our website, trafalgarcastle.ca. Our admissions team is available to guide you through the admissions process and answer any further questions you may have. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to hear from you soon.